we're asked to select all the expressions that have the same value as 40 divided by 10. So our first step is to determine what is 40 divided by 10. So this is asking us how many 10s are there in 40, and because there are 4 10s in 40, or because 4 times 10 equals 40, this quotient is equal to 4, which means we're looking for all the expressions here that have a value of 4. So looking at the first expression, we have 10 divided by 40, which is asking how many 40s are there in 10. So if we recognize right away this quotient is not going to be 4, we can go ahead and go to the next expression and not check this expression of having the value of 4. It's not going to be worth our time on a test like this to perform this calculation if we know it's not equal to 4. But for a quick review, if we really did want to find this quotient, we might perform long division like this, 10 divided by 40. And again, because there aren't any 40s in 10, we can put a decimal point to the right of 10, move it up into the quotient, and then add a 0 and ask how many 40s are there in 100. Well, there are 2 40s in 100, because 2 times 40 is equal to 80, and we would subtract. 100 minus 80 is equal to 20. We can add another 0 and bring it down, and now ask how many 40s are there in 200, and there are 5 40s in 200 because 5 times 40 equals 200. And now because this difference is 0, we know that 10 divided by 40 is equal to 0.25. But again, it's important to recognize that as soon as we know this is not equal to 4, there's no reason to spend time performing this calculation because we can use this time on another question. Next we have 1 times 4, which is equal to 4, so we'll go ahead and check this expression as having a value of 4. It's also important to recognize that directions say select all the expressions that have a value of 4, which means we don't stop once we find the first expression that has a value of 4. We want to select all the expressions that have a value of 4. Next we have 40 times 10. Well, again, we should recognize right away this is not going to be equal to 4, so we can go ahead and stop here and go on to the next expression. But for review, 40 times 10 would be equal to 400, which obviously is not equal to 4, so we go to the next expression. Next we have 40 divided by 10 divided by 1. Notice how we have division twice in this expression, so we work our way from left to right dividing. So we first want to determine what is 40 divided by 10, which we already know is equal to 4. So this expression simplifies to 4 divided by 1, which is equal to 4. This asks how many 1s are there in 4, which is 4. So this expression also has a value of 4. Moving along to the next expression, we have 40 divided by, and then in parentheses we have 2 divided by 10. So following the order of operations, we simplify inside the parentheses first. So we're going to have 40 divided by whatever 2 divided by 10 is. But again, remember, we know that 40 divided by 10 is equal to 4, and we're looking to see if this expression has a value of 4. So if we quickly recognize that 2 divided by 10 is not going to give us 10, and therefore we're not going to have 40 divided by 10, which equals 4, we can stop here, not check this expression, and move on to the next expression. Again, there's no reason to spend extra time determining the exact value of this expression if we know it's not equal to 4. And this one in particular would be very time consuming. I won't show all the work, but 2 divided by 10 would be equal to 2/10 or 0.2, and then 40 divided by 0.2 would be equal to 200. Again, not time well spent on a test like this. And finally, for our last expression, we have in parentheses 40 divided by 2, and then divided by 5. So we simplify inside the parentheses first. 40 divided by 2 is asking how many 2's are there in 40, which would be equal to 20, because 20 times 2 equals 40. So we have 20 divided by 5, which is asking how many 5's are there in 20. And because there are 4 5's in 20, or 4 times 5 equals 20, this quotient is equal to 4, which means we do select this expression as having a value of 4. I hope you found this helpful.